We'll see how this goes today. I feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel today, but that's all right. Um, all right. Think I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy sometimes. Lots of things about plants and trees have come up today, so I don't know what the Holy Spirit wants me to know about that. I feel like I was more in tune with my poetic side when I was younger, and I didn't have so much real life stuff to worry about. But I used to write poetry, and I used to, write. I used to write a lot, just write my thoughts down, write devotionals, write poems, write songs. When I was a child, I used to write short stories, and I wanted to write chapter books, but I never could finish. So all in all, that part of me is really dormant. And I feel like when things like this pop into my head, it's like the spark is there, but I have like no energy and no mental capacity to do it. Maybe I'll get back to it someday when I'm like, I don't know, in like 20 years. Hopefully I'm retired by then or whatever. But all that to say, a lot of things with plants has come up today. So I'll give you some background. Oh, hey, Mel, you were able to join. I know you were busy today. So I had this huge spider plant that someone gave me. Oh, you were going to read Psalm 1 also? It's those vibrations Melissa was talking about on her video. I just wanted to focus on the planted by the tree, or the tree planted by the rivers of water. So we had this big spider plant that was given to us. My mom gave it to me because her friend was moving and wanted to get rid of it. But the backstory of why my mom gave it to me was because I had a spider plant, and when we went out to Colorado, I asked my mom to take care of it, and she killed it. And so I was attached to that first spider plant. And so when it died, I felt like somebody I knew died. So it was really pretty. It was about medium sized, I guess. And so the spider plant she gave me from her friend was huge. I mean, it was out to here. And so it did really well. I think she gave it to me like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So it's done well. And we repotted it, and it was still doing well in Illinois. And then when we moved here to Indiana in the summer, it was doing great outside. It like even got renewed. It was like, it started shooting out the little baby spider plants again, and it was having a great time outside. But of course, because it gets so cold early in the Midwest, I brought it inside. Well, lo and behold, this plant started to have root rot. So the only way I knew that was because I'm no plant expert. All the leaves would turn brown on the ends. So anyways, maybe I'll share on here like a short of what it looks like now. Basically, I don't have time to handle that. I knew it needed help, and I apologize to it all the time. I have some babies that are in other pots that have done well from it. But pretty much when you have root rot in a plant, you have to get rid of the source of the root rot. And it wasn't just one big plant. It was, I think we had like 6. So this morning, my husband rinsed out all the roots, and really only sparse pieces of this plant were left. And so I guess we'll just start over. And it's pretty cool. I guess I should have taken a picture of it. The roots of the actual bigger plants were about this thick. But when you have root rot, it takes everything else from the rest of the plants. So it was just too crowded. It was too everything. So we're kind of starting over. Which reminds me of starting over. I'm not much of a gardener either, Andrew. It takes a long time. Melissa's good at it, and she has the land to do it. I know how to do it. I've grown vegetables successfully, and I take care of my plants semi-successfully. My indoor plants, that is. I don't have too many. I have mostly succulents, which aren't hard to do. So if you do want plants inside, just to get succulents because they're desert plants and they don't need that much water. Spider plants are pretty hardy also. But anyways, um, we've had to start over. And then this past fall, I wanted to try to plant some fall vegetables. So that would be like broccoli and lettuce and what else did I try? Kale. And we had a horrible frost in November. It was like this freak show of winter in early November, and it killed it all. So, anyways, I'll try again this summer. I always try. But yeah, potted plants are very fickle, and they maybe it's because it's not natural. However, I have one plant that my mom got me a few years ago, and it's doing pretty well. I'll have to repot it because it's getting big, it's getting tall, and I think it's gonna get crowded in the pot that it originally came in. Anyways, I digress. Is kale tasty? Andrew, it can be. I actually haven't bought kale in a while. I don't know why. It's not tasty on its own, okay? And I'm Italian, so I add garlic to everything. So maybe I'll make a video about it. You can make kale chips, like roasted vegetables are good no matter what they taste like. So it is easy to grow. It's hardy. So it is bitter. You're right, Melissa. It's bitter. What I usually do with it, so the first time I had it, it tasted like a weed because I just ate it plain in a salad, and that's disgusting. But if you put kale in, if you put it on a sheet pan and drizzle it with olive oil, and then like you put salt and pepper and some garlic and onion powder, you roast it in the oven for like 10 minutes, and then it'll come out crispy, and that's really good. It takes getting used to it. But don't eat it just plain, I would suggest. You could also put kale and spinach. I do this a lot in eggs, or spinach and eggs. I put kale in pasta a lot. So if you just let it wilt in olive oil and garlic again, if you're not Italian, you maybe don't use garlic as much. You don't have to, but I use garlic and olive oil like every day in every meal. So yeah, if you put the kale, like if you wilt it down like spinach and then put it in your pasta, it tastes good. How else have I made kale? I don't know. I usually just do olive oil and garlic, salt, pepper. Anyways, yeah, onions and garlic. I forgot why I don't buy it anymore. I read something that sometimes kale can be harsh for some people, and I was thinking that might have been for my daughter. It was harsh for some reason, so I haven't bought it in a while. But we do eat a lot of spinach and stuff. Anyways, I digress. The whole thing, I could do a whole video about that stuff too. But it's literally taken me like 10 years to kind of know where I'm going with things. And then I had to switch up my diet like 3 years ago because my body decided to start giving out on me. So I've learned even more since then. I do a lot more vegan dishes now. And straight out vegetarian vegan dishes, which they're pretty good, but I've had to learn that too. Like I've had to do a lot of that kind of thing. So, asparagus and eggs. Yeah, asparagus are good too. I love asparagus. Like I said, anything sauteed or roasted in olive oil and garlic tastes good. But yeah, Brussels sprouts, I roast any vegetable. You'll never go wrong with roasted vegetable. So with this spider plant, we've had to start over. But circle back, because Yah does this. He makes us circle back in our mind. I have been struggling a lot with our move. And I didn't think I would struggle, but I have. I feel really displaced. So I'm kind of like this spider plant. This is like coming off just the top of my head right now. I kind of feel like this spider plant starting over. Like, oh, it was doing great at the beginning of the move, and the move is good. It's all good. But being displaced from a place you're so comfortable with and to being uncomfortable and starting over and trying to figure things out, it's uncomfortable. So, oh yeah, tofu, sorry, I keep like squirrel, I keep getting distracted. I saw tofu at the store yesterday, and I've seen some interesting recipes I wanted to try, but I didn't buy it because I know the soy is not good. So, but yeah, it would be good. So yeah, I feel like this spider plant. I've been uprooted from Illinois, and many of you know I talk about the Midwest a lot. I am a Midwestern girl through and through. I was born in Wisconsin. I've lived in other places like Colorado, Arizona, but I've never truly fit in there. I fit in the Midwest because that's where I'm from. And of course, now I'm just continuing in the Midwest. But even though the Midwest is all the same area, it's different. I came from a suburban, urban type area, and where I am now is kind of suburban, kind of country. And so it feels different. And the people around here are pretty much from Illinois, so at least the people, we can make connections that way, like my coworkers and stuff. But anyways, all that to say, I don't mean to talk about myself too much. I felt a little displaced. So with this spider plant, I will definitely take pictures for you. I should take a before picture and an after, because there's like nothing left of this spider plant now, but we're going to have to start over. My husband was able to salvage a couple sprigs, and we'll see how they do. So anyways, root as in root. Oh, there you go, Andrew. It must be, I don't know if that's the root of my name, part of that. My name's just, my name just means a woman. So, and actually my name in Italian is a guy's name. Someone from Italy told me that, and I'm like, oh, well, not in America. So, I don't know. It's funny because I have a guy's name, but it means woman. Anyways, so lo and behold, that happened with the, yeah, me too, Andrew, only his voice. As we were talking this morning about the spider plant, all of Isaiah, or a lot of Isaiah in where we are now, so 40 through 42, I want to get through, is about trees, and what will be restarted by the Most High when everything is where it should be. And I even wanted to show you some pictures of the trees that are mentioned, because they are pretty. And lo and behold, of course, all these trees are found here in the Americas, but also all over the world. So even one tree, I can't remember which one it was, but one of them was brought over from Spain to California, and California is probably somewhere near the true promised land, if the promised land is in the Americas. So let me read Psalm 1 through 3. Blessed is the person who does not follow the advice of wicked people, take the path of sinners, or join the company of mockers. Isn't that everybody today? Many people. Rather, he delights in the teachings of Yahweh and reflects on his teachings day and night. He is like a tree planted beside streams, in the ground near water, a tree that produces fruit in season and whose leaves do not wither. So no root rot here. He succeeds in everything he does. I'm going to read from Names of God Bible too, just to let you know. So I just thought that was interesting that the way I'm feeling tied in with that, which tied into today's reading. Kind of interesting. So let me show you a couple pictures just of what I found. All I could find were pictures of where they were selling them. So this is a cedar tree. We're going to read about that. There's a lot of types of cedars, and I just clicked on the first one, so I'm not being too specific. But a lot of the trees that are mentioned in Isaiah are the carniferous trees. Is that the way to say it? This is the cedar of Lebanon, which is in the Middle East, which is really pretty. I love trees. I think I've said before, this is a cypress. Oh, where'd it go? This is a cypress. Sorry. It gets really pretty. So this is a cypress. And these are the trees that's cool. These are the trees that obviously don't change colors, except that, well, this one does. I'm going to click out of some of these so we don't get too bogged down by stuff. There's the cedar of Lebanon. There's us. Oh, you're in the woods? Yeah, hug the trees. My daughter hugs trees and touches trees. She can't climb trees, but she'd like to. This is the myrtle. This is really pretty. This is mentioned in Isaiah 2. Isaiah also. Gorgeous. That's a cypress. Oops. It's a cypress also. So these are all over the world. So yeah. It was pretty. So let's get to it. Okay. Oh, and I don't have these names in front of me to tell you what they mean. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I forgot my Bible downstairs. I have a Names of God Bible downstairs. But anyways, these are really encouraging verses. So yeah, and I was just thinking how, I said I talked to my spider plant and I apologized to it. I hope it heard me because it didn't really thrive even though I was apologizing. But just like water, like how there's been studies done that water with certain music or certain words will change. And I think that's the same with trees. And obviously there's theories out there about the trees being able to move and that they can hear. Like in Psalms, it says the trees of the field clap their hands to praise the Most High and all this stuff. So I don't know. It's just amazing what trees really are. I don't think we really know, but the Bible talks a lot about it. And someone told me, I don't know if it was someone on one of these groups, they told me someone heard a tree cry when it got cut down. And I don't know if that meant, I don't think they meant an audible voice. I don't know, something happened where they knew the tree was sad that it was cut. It was strange, but I believe it. And you know what? It's in all those it's in all those Lord of the Rings movies and Hobbit movies and Narnia movies about the trees, carrying messages to each other and stuff. I mean, they do that on purpose because they know. So, all right, let me read before this gets too long because I got something in the crock pot and I don't want to burn it. Okay. But these are really encouraging. Whether it's happened yet or not, I don't know. It sounds encouraging, and just being in this paradise that the Most High is going to set up for us sounds amazing anyways, which he will eventually. Okay. And these verses are in Handel's Messiah also, which I used to sing every Christmas with my church. And then another one I posted. I couldn't find the song I wanted on YouTube. It's very hard to find, but about him being our shepherd. So this is all encouragement. So after Hezekiah's bout with his, having 15 years to live, now we've got some comfort from the Most High taking care of his own. So comfort my people, comfort them, says your Elohim. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and announce to it that its time of hard labor is over and its wrongs have been paid for. It has received from Yahweh double for all its sins. A voice cries out in the desert, clear a way for Yahweh. Make a straight highway in the wilderness for our Elohim. Every valley will be raised, every mountain and hill will be lowered. Steep places will be made level, rough places will be made smooth. Then Yahweh's glory will be revealed, and all the people will see it together. Yahweh has spoken. A voice called out. It's called, call out. I asked, what should I call out? Call out, all people are like grass, and all their beauty is like a flower in the field. Grass dries up and flowers wither when Yahweh's breath blows on them. Yes, people are like grass. Grass dries up and flowers wither, but the word of our Elohim will last forever. So I posted that song on one of my posts today. Go up a high mountain, Zion. Tell the good news. Call out with a loud voice, Jerusalem. Tell the good news. Raise your voice without fear. Tell the cities of Judah, here is your Elohim. Adonai Yahweh is coming with power to rule with authority. His reward is with him, and the people he has won arrive ahead of him. So they're coming together. Like a shepherd, he takes care of his flock. He gathers the lambs in his arms. He carries them in his arms. He gently helps the sheep and their lambs. And there's a good song I can't find, like I said. It makes me cry. I sang that in choir too. It's very beautiful. So let's just put ourselves in this place for now. And before we get to this part about God giving strength, so I had an interesting yesterday when I saw one of my family members post about being weak. And I mean, yeah, we all are weak and we have weakness here on earth. But I've talked to other friends, two of mine, that does our Heavenly Father always want us weak? And I don't think he does. He wants us strong in him. And I think he can teach us, but he doesn't want us to stay there. And I know some Christians who just stay in their weakness and say that it's their submission to our Heavenly Father. But I tend to disagree with that because he wouldn't want you to be miserable and be weak forever. So this verse kind of spoke to me in that way because this is what he wants for us. Okay, and there's a lot of FE references, if you know what I'm saying, in this next part. Who has measured the water of the sea with the palm of his hand, or measured the sky with the length of his hand? Who has held the dust of the earth in a bushel basket, or weighed the mountains on a scale and the hills on a balance? Who has directed the Ruach Yahweh, that's the Holy Spirit, or instructed him as his advisor? Whom did he counsel? Who gave him understanding? Who taught him the right way? Who taught him knowledge? who informed him about the way to understanding. The nations are like a drop in a bucket. All the nations, consider that. Consider all the past nations, current nations, future nations, although they're all tied together, the past, the present, and the future. The weights of the islands is like fine dust. All the trees in Lebanon are not enough to burn an offering. Its wild animals are not enough for a single burnt offering. All the nations amount to nothing in his presence. He considers them less than nothing and worthless. That's how powerful he is. So I'm imagining fields and fields and forests. There's not enough wood in those to make an offering. The animals for animal sacrifice, there was never enough, which kind of contradicts the Old Testament and the sacrificial system. But I'm not going to go there right now. But okay, now he's going to say, to whom then can you compare El? So El is the Most High. To what statue can you compare him? Craftsmen make idols, goldsmiths cover them with gold. Silversmiths make silver chains for them. The poorest people choose wood that will not rot and search out skillful craftsmen to set up idols that will not fall over. Don't you know? Haven't you heard? Haven't you been told from the beginning? Don't you understand the foundations of the earth? He is enthroned above the earth, and those who live on it are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the sky like a canopy and spreads it out like a tent to live in. He makes rulers unimportant and makes earthly judges worth nothing. Okay, here's some more tree plant analogy. They have hardly been planted. They have hardly been sown. They have hardly taken root in the ground. So because they have no root, they haven't flourished, they haven't brought forth fruit, and they have no solid planting. They're not solid in the ground. He blows on them and they wither. A windstorm sweeps them away like straw. To whom then can you compare me? Who is my equal? Asks the Holy One. More FE. Look at the sky and see. I don't say the whole phrase because I never know. My channel's never, it's only one time when I had a time with copyright that they shut it down for a second. They shut my video down, but I don't say certain things. And I don't want that stupid Wikipedia tag on anything either. Okay. Look at the sky. Who created these things? Who brings out the stars one by one? He calls them all by name. Because of the greatness of his might and the strength of his power, not one of them is missing. Jacob, why do you complain? Israel, why do you say, my way is hidden from Yahweh, and my rights are ignored by my Elohim? Don't you know, haven't you heard? El Elam, Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, doesn't grow tired or become weary. His understanding is beyond reach. He gives strength. Sorry about that. He gives strength to those who grow tired. Here's our part. And increases the strength of those who are weak. Even young people grow tired and become weary, and young men will stumble and fall. Yet the strength of those who wait with hope in Yahweh will be renewed. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and won't become weary. They will walk and won't grow tired. So who knows if we're going to have to do this in the future? I don't know. Like I said last video, I don't like talking about that stuff. I don't really think a lot about what may happen or what may be. I mean, talk about being in a spiral downward of depression. You don't want to do that. I'd rather focus on this kind of stuff because this is what's going to be happening. And I always say, I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm always going to remember that no matter how my body feels, I know my soul is stronger. And that's what keeps us going, our spirit and his spirit. And those vibrations and those just the connection we have because he is with us always. keeps us going. So, yeah. Because I feel my soul, I actually feel my soul stronger than my actual body and mind. So much so it gets kind of weird. I don't want to bring up weirdness, but in the spiritual realm, I've felt like I just feel like bursting out sometimes, but that's my soul. I feel like that's my soul wanting to come out and like really just be free from everything, because this world is so like this world is just depressing, and it's so, and everything in life gets so messed up sometimes. My soul just feels like bursting out of my body. I can't explain it. It's kind of weird. And I wasn't high or anything when I felt that, just FYI. Okay. But anyways, this is going to be us, because I think and I've been thinking a lot about the past now, and maybe others have felt like this in the past. And everyone says nowadays, oh, today, nowadays is such a unique time to be alive. I think every generation has felt like that. My grandparents probably felt like that when they were growing up in the Depression, and people would say, there's never been a time like this. I think of my great grandparents who came here from their homelands to the United States. That's unlike anything any of their families had experienced. So I don't think we're like some chosen generation, but I think generations do see certain things for certain reasons. So as those generations, like the baby boomers, so the baby boomers are like my parents, and then the World War II generation is passing on. So now it's our turn to be the ones to kind of go forward for the next generation now. So that's important. And I know those of you with children know that's important too, or if you know any children, or if you know anybody. Okay, so chapter 41 is really interesting. But I think this is timeless. This is what every generation needs to know, no matter where we are in time. All right. The nations choose idols, but the Lord chose Israel. Be silent and listen to me, you coastlands. Let the people gain new strength, and let them come near and speak. Let us come together for judgment. Okay. Oh, I wanted to say about the coastlands. So many people who speak about the Hebrews being the natives, Native Americans, the Black people and populations, no matter what kinds of darker skin tones, those Hebraic people would include also the coastlands. And I think I shared a long time ago when the coastlands were mentioned again. And of course, I can't remember. I'll have to go back to that video. But the coastlands is talking about a specific tribe also of Israel. So I was even looking up, one of those trees is native to Hawaii, I think the myrtle. And so that would correlate with, I don't have my notes, what I wrote down, but that would correlate with the coastlands and what he's going to be talking about with the trees, those islands that we know of, the islands near Australia, and then in between that and Hawaii, and the Polynesian islands, and all the islands like that. So with Israel. So it all ties together. Israel is not what they tell us, the nation of Israel in the Middle East. When we read it like that, it ties more into why they're talking about the coastlands, because he's talking to Israel, the dispersed tribes, which are the tribal people that we know of today, but they are treated as Hebrews, actually people of tribal descent and all of that, they have been persecuted for all of our history. So it makes more sense to me. Okay. Who has raised up from the east someone to whom Yahweh gives victory with every step he takes? Nations are handed over to him. He defeats kings. With his sword, he turns them into dust. With his bow, he turns them into straw blown by the wind. He chases them marching by safely on a path his feet have never traveled before. Who has accomplished this? Who has determined the course of history from the beginning? I, Yahweh, was there first, and I will be there to the end. I am the one. This is a super interesting passage. The course of history. Who determined the course of history? So who wants to change history? The evildoers and Satan's army and Satan's little minions and big minions. They want to change the course of history. But he, the Most High, knows the true history and the beginning to the end. The coastlands have seen him and are afraid. The ends of the earth tremble. So then this made me think about the ends of our realm is the Antarctica, like the walls, the ice walls. But what are beyond the ends of the earth? What are at the ends of the earth? It makes me feel like something evil is trembling at the ends of the earth. It just kind of came to my mind. They have come near and gathered together. People help their neighbors and say to their relatives, be brave. Craftsmen encourage goldsmiths. Metalsmiths encourage blacksmiths who work at their anvils. They say that they are soldering. Their soldering is good, and they fasten things with nails so they won't. They're idols. But you are my servant Israel, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the descendant of Abraham, my dear friend. I have taken you from the ends of the earth and called you from its most distant places. So this is talking about the disbursement of the 12 tribes too. And that's why they're so dispersed that nobody even knows who they really are anymore. That's why a lot of people study it now. I said to you, you are my servant. I've chosen you and I haven't rejected you. And then that's where we come in, where we are grafted in, which is talked about in the Old Testament all the time, that they would take strangers and they would take people from other places into the tribe of Israel. Don't be intimidated. I am your Elohim. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will support you with my victorious right hand. Everyone who is angry with you will be ashamed and disgraced. Those who oppose you will be reduced to nothing and disappear. Everyone. You will search for your enemies, but you will not find them. Those who are at war with you will be reduced to nothing and no longer exist. They will become extinct. I, Yahweh, your Elohim, hold your right hand. I said to you, don't be afraid. I will help you. Don't be afraid, Jacob, you worm. Well, let's just take that out. I don't think that's probably canon. Why would you be so... Why would Heavenly Father be so encouraging and then be like, you worm, I'm going to squish you like the worm you are? That's so crazy. That's like my husband saying to my daughter, I love you so much, take my right hand and I'll hold your hand while you get through this, you worm. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're just going to take that out because I don't think some interpretations are right. You people of Israel, I will help you, declares Yahweh. Your Goel Kadash Israel. I can't remember what that means. I'm sorry. You can look it up. I am going to make you into a new threshing sledge with sharp, double-edged teeth. Process of beating stalks to separate them from the grain. So they are going to be, this nation of Israel is going to be a weapon that is to be feared. You will thresh the mountains and crush them to dust. You will turn the hills into straw. You will winnow them. The wind will carry them away. The windstorm will scatter them, but you will find joy in Yahweh and praise Kodesh Israel. We've seen some mountains turn to dust. The poor and needy are looking for water, but there is none. Their tongues are parched with thirst. I, Yahweh, will answer them. I, the Elohim of Israel, will not abandon them. I will make rivers flow on bare hilltops. I will make springs flow through valleys. I will turn deserts into lakes. I will turn dry land into springs. Here's all of our beautiful trees. I will plant cedar. I will plant cedar, acacia, myrtle, wild olive trees in the desert. I will place cedar, fir, cypress trees together in the wilderness. People will see and know. Together they will consider and understand that Yahweh's power has done this, that Kodesh Yisrael has created it. Present your case, says Yahweh. Bring forward your best arguments, says Jacob's Melech. Bring your idols so they can tell us what's going on, what's going to happen. Explain past events that your idols told you about so that we may consider them and know what their outcome will be. Tell us about future events. Tell us what's going to happen so that we may know that you are gods. Yes, do something good or evil to intimidate us and make us afraid. You are nothing. You can't do anything. Whoever chooses you is disgusting. I have raised up someone from the north, and he has come. So here's my Hyboria theory again, kind of correlating. He will call on my name from the east. He will attack rulers as if they were mud, as if he were treading on clay like a potter. Who revealed this from the beginning so that we could know it? Who revealed this from the past so that we could say that he was right? No one revealed it. No one announced it. No one heard your words. I was the first to tell Zion, look, here they are. I gave Jerusalem a messenger with the good news. When I look, there is no one. There is no one to advise them. When I ask them a question, will they give an answer? All of them are nothing. They can't do anything. Their statues are nothing but air. So we have all this talk about being the nations, and the evil will be destroyed, and then he will use his chosen to take care of everything else so that everything can be renewed, and he will give this paradise. This is paradise to me. I don't know. I think a lot. And then maybe it's because I don't know if anybody else has been, and I'm sure, well, Mel lives by the mountains or more mountainous regions, but I always think of the Rockies. Oh my gosh. Mountains are the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. If you want to think like, if you want to think on the Most High's power, go and look at some mountains or go in the mountains. It's crazy. Beautiful, peaceful, enormous, extravagant. Anyway, so to me, this just sounds like paradise. All these trees, the springs. Okay, here's 42. Here is my Ebed, whom I support. Here is my chosen one, with whom I am pleased. I have put my Ruach on him. He will bring justice to the nations. He will not cry out or raise his voice. He will not make his voice heard in the streets. He will not break off a damaged cattail. He will not even put out a smoking wick. He will faithfully bring about justice. He will not be discouraged or crushed until he has set up justice on the earth. The coastlands will wait for his teachings. So these coastlands are a lot more important than I've ever heard about in churches or Bible college. So as Israel was the weapon used to take care of everything, now his chosen one is gentle but just. Yahweh El created the heavens and stretched them out. He shaped the earth and all that comes from it. He gave life to the people who are on it and breath to those who walk on it. This is what Yahweh El says. I, Yahweh, have called you to do what is right. I will take hold of your hand. I will protect you. I will appoint you as my promise to the people, as my light to the nations. You will give sight to the blind, bring prisoners out of prisons, and bring those who live in darkness out of the dungeons. I am Yahweh, that is my name. I will not give glory to anyone else or the praise I deserve to idols. What I said in the past has come true. I will reveal new things before they happen. Sing a new song to Yahweh. Sing his praise from the ends of the earth, you people who sail on the seas and all the creatures that live in them, you coastlands and all who live on them. Let those who live in the desert and its cities raise their voices. Let those who live in the settlements of Kedar praise him. Let those who live in Selah sing for joy, or Selah. Let them shout from the tops of the mountains. Let them give glory to Yahweh and announce his praise on the coastlands. Yahweh marches out like a warrior. He prepares himself for battle like a soldier. He shouts, gives the battle cry, and overpowers his enemies. I have been silent for a long time. I kept quiet and held myself back. But like a woman in childbirth, I will cry out. I will gasp and pant. I will lay waste to mountains and hills. I will dry up all their vegetation. I will turn rivers into islands, and I will dry up ponds. I will lead the blind on an unfamiliar road, and I will lead them on unfamiliar paths, so they won't understand. I will turn darkness into light. In front of them, I will make rough places smooth. These are the things I will do for them, and I will never abandon them. Then those who trust idols and those who say to statues, "You are our gods," will be turned away and put to shame. Listen, you deaf people, look, you blind people, so that you can see. Who is blind except my servant, or deaf like the messenger I send? Who is blind like the one who is my trust, or blind like the servant of Yahweh? You have seen much, but you do not observe anything. Your ears are open, but you hear nothing. Yahweh is pleased because he does what is right. He praises the greatness of his teachings and makes them glorious. Oops. But these people are robbed and looted. They are all trapped in pits and hidden in prisons. I think that means spiritual prisons. They have become prey with no one to rescue them. They have become loot with no one to say, "Give it back." Who among you will listen to this? Is there anyone who will pay attention and listen in the future? Who gave Jacob away as loot and handed Israel over to robbers? So that's what we've seen in our history, if you know what to look for. They were given away. They were bought and sold. Wasn't it Yahweh against whom we have sinned? They didn't want to live his way. They didn't obey his teachings. So he poured out his burning anger and horrors of war on them. It engulfed them in flames, but they did not understand. It burned them, but they did not take it to heart. And I think we see a lot of that with all this, you know what, lives matter, and these weird, I don't know, these weird groups that want all this attention for the wrong reasons. They're just as evil, and people just flock to it because they feel entitled. But there's a lot more to it than that. It's really really evil, and it's just it is sad. You know, the things that people do to others just because of hate. Anyways, that's all I have. That was a lot of reading. Sorry. I hope you guys weren't overwhelmed with that, because it was a lot to take in. I kind of hyper-focused on the tree aspect and the strength aspect versus weakness, and then I didn't go into 42 as much, but that's okay. Whatever happens, happens. Your dad, or you call your son a turkey? Yeah, well, a turkey and a bugger is a lot. To me, that's a lot more innocent than worm. So yeah, that's all I have. Be blessed, and we won't be uprooted, And if we are, he will make us like a tree planted by the rivers of water, and everything we do will be successful spiritually, because that's what we really need. We need our souls to be successful. We need to be successful in how we think and what we know is truth. Just like it said, he's the one that knows what's happened and in history. I'm glad it wasn't overwhelming for you, Andrew. That's good. Yeah. So stay strong, and he'll hold your hand. Bye.